Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2023 Lexus GX460. Up front is a 4.6 liter V8, and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this GX460 for several reasons. First of all, I love the GX. Always have, always will. The second reason is the fact that 2023 is the final year of this body style. This ran from 2010 until 2023. And so we finally said goodbye to it, and I think that's good and bad. But the other reason is that it's been a couple years since I've driven this generation of GX. And actually, the last GX that I drove had a very special date attached to it that we'll talk about with the final thoughts segment. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. Also, huge thank you to Your Garage Incorporated for making this video possible. If your car needs work in the Chicagoland area and you would like the mechanic to come to you, you can schedule an appointment with Your Garage Incorporated. They will be linked down in the description below. But let's get back to that 4.6 liter V8. Well, that is just the best. They used this engine, the 3UZ, for many, many years before the GX, and it really has proven itself to be very reliable. It makes good, solid power and is one of the best engines to come out of Lexus. Now, the big issue with it is that it only averages about 11 miles to the gallon in the city. Now, this car was recently driven on the highway, so those numbers bumped up to about 15 miles to the gallon, but it guzzles fuel like a 10-year-old at a soda fountain. And so that's not the great part of this engine. That's why they moved away from this engine with the now twin turbo setups. It gets a little bit more MPGs, but yeah, not great. Like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. Nothing interesting here. It's solid, it's reliable, and it works. And last but not least, of course, the GX is four-wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive the Lexus GX? You hear that four-wheel drive, you hear that big V8, you might think, oh, it's a little crazy. Tisn't crazy. It is very nice and simple to drive. And I praised the GX for this 5 years ago, and I'm praising the GX for it now. It's such a relaxing and calming experience. It has that nice luxury feeling to it. You waft everywhere you go, and it disconnects you from the world around you. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing, but in today's hectic life, I tend to find it's rather good. Visibility is all right. Ride quality is superb. I like it a lot. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 physical gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature, and off to the right is the fuel and speedometer. We also do get that little information gauge in the center. You can swap it around for a couple different things. Really like that Toyota and Lexus did this in this era. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our volume, skip track mode, and phone options. And off to the right, we have our selector for that gauge cluster screen, as well as our pages, go back, and pre-collision warning. We also do have cruise control at the bottom right. This is a stock that has been used since the early 2000s in Toyota products, so this is definitely part of the car where it really shows its age. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, power mirror adjustments, gauge dimmer switch, odometer, and trip, and then we also have headlight washers, traction control, automatic high beams, and our heated steering wheel. Moving on to the door, we do have power windows as well as lock and unlock, found way down low. Moving into the center, we do get a touchscreen infotainment. This does feel newer than the car constructed around it. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Lexus was very, very late to the game to adapt to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So if you are looking at like a 2020 GX, it might not have it. Down below, we do have 2 climate control vents with the hazard switch and our climate controls. Dual zone climate, of course. Very simple laid out buttons. Absolutely love that. It's easy to see, easy to use, and that's what I go for. We also do have our DAC button, which is like crawling, our 4-wheel drive settings off to the right, and a digital clock in the center. Down below, we have our CD player. In 2023, it has a CD player. Absolutely insane. But that is hooked up to the Mark Levinson sound system. So absolutely love to see that. We do have some cubbies down below, USB-A, as well as our heated and ventilated seat options. The shifter in the center, very satisfying clunk putting it into gear. Love the feeling of this shifter, even though it is rather dated. And off to the right, we have the touchpad that if I could nuke it into orbit, I absolutely would. This touchpad is a disgrace to automobiles. It's disgusting. I don't want to look at it or touch it anymore. It's awful to use. It's not very intuitive. And when you're driving, your finger bounces and then you select something else and it becomes a headache and I hate it. But hey, I'm in a Lexus GX. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. Then we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And I would say it goes in enough to pass the big friggin' bottle test. That's pretty sweet. Then we do have a center console and the seats. The seats are leather, heated, ventilated, power, and memory. They are everything you want out of a modern seat. So absolutely love to see that. However, speaking of seats, we do have 2 more rows of seating. I can only access 1 here today, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2023 Lexus GX460, and a couple of things to note. First of all, I fit fine. I'm a big boy and I fit back here really well. We do have our own climate controls down below, heated seats for the second row as well. And the owners have a little one so you can see how that sort of thing would fit in the back seat here of the Lexus GX. Really, really nice to see that. This is a very, very nice place to be. I am spread out, I am comfortable, and I'm getting a luxurious experience that I would expect out of the Lexus badge. Now, normally there is a third row that you can put up. However, the owners have a couple things back there that kind of prevent that from happening. So there is a third row, just so you know. Here's what it looks like. Here's how I tested it 5 years ago. All right, so we're in the back of the GX460. These are kids' seats. As you can see, I can't even really fit my legs back here. My head is hitting the ceiling. I am 5'11". I do have a cup holder back here. Some tie downs, I guess. I mean, that's really it. These are if you need them seats. It's it's not good back here. I think I can, nope. Oh, maybe this. There we go. I could do that though. That's kind of neat. But let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space to kind of show off that part of the car. So something that people sometimes don't realize about the GX is that there's actually a giant door at the back. And it has this huge strut that says "Do not step on." Don't step on snake. But once we are back here, as you can see, strollers and things like that fit back here very, very well. When you do have the third row down, you do have a pretty handsome amount of rear cargo space. And you do get power seat options for this third row. You can bring them up power. That is very, very cool. But I always do want to point out the giant door on the back of the Lexus GX. It might be a handful to open and close, but not too bad. And then you do have this button here, which will pop the rear glass, and you can stick your head in through there. Very, very nice to see all of that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I could give or take the look of the GX. I don't think it's this really good looking SUV. Again, it does look kind of outdated for 2023. This car really screams 2014. So not great in that regard. However, it did the job. It looks presentable. It looks nice. And that's all I can say about that. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Lexus GX460 from 2023? Well, I, of course, like this experience quite a bit. It does everything right. It has a solid, reliable engine. It has all the creature comforts I could ever want. It's quiet, it's smooth, it's nice to drive. This is the luxury SUV that you've been waiting for. And so we take a look at the modern GX. They refreshed it last year. This is a GX550 Premium Plus. And I like it too. It's luxurious, it's nice to drive, it's cushy, it has all the amenities that you want. However, they swapped the V8 for a twin-turbo V6. Now, I like that powertrain. It works well in that application, and it's nice to drive. But is it going to be nice to drive like this is at 100,000 miles, at 200,000 miles, at 300,000 miles? I don't know. I'm not sure that it's going to be as reliable as this engine is. This engine's built like a steel hammer. This engine is built to endure and withstand. This engine is tough as nails. And that's the drawing point to one of these. This is the newest, version of this that you could ever buy. 2023 was the final model year, and so to buy one is very smart. It's probably going to be the lowest mileage, yet have the most options and the best engine. The owner, Mike, is sitting on gold. However, there's one final thing that I feel while driving this GX. The last GX that I drove, it was a white one here on the channel. I drove that vehicle on March 13th, 2020 here in the US, and I even mentioned it in that video if you go watch that one. And so I hope that you're watching this video some point in the future and you're laughing and go, oh, I remember that. But right now, the shelves on stores are absolutely empty. My schooling, my college schooling has been canceled. The elementary schools have been canceled. There is a stay-home policy. There is a quarantine. And tonight, we are waiting to hear from our president if he enforces a nationwide quarantine that could last up to 8 weeks. Since that last video, I graduated college. Since that last video, I've driven over 1,000 more cars. Since that last video, I've started to get press cars dropped off to my house. And since that last video, I've gotten a house. A lot of things have happened since that last video. But the GX460 has remained the same. It's reliable. It's sturdy. It's exactly what I want. And that is something of beauty. I can't say that about a lot of different cars. But this one, well, it's as reliable as they come. Not only in engine, but in heart, spirit, and mind. I don't know if we'll ever have an SUV like the GX460 ever again. And that's a shame, but I'll tip my cap to this one here today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Mike for letting me borrow his GX460, and shout out to his lovely wife and child for bringing it out here today for an afternoon in the park. They've been absolutely wonderful to work with, and I appreciate them very, very much. Again, I'd really like to thank Your Garage Incorporated for making this video possible. If you're in the Chicagoland area and your vehicle needs service, fixing, or maintenance, you can have the mechanic come to you. All you need to do is schedule an appointment online, and they show up with the proper tools and expertise. A link to their website and more information is down in the description below. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.